Good morning, everyone. How are you? How are you? I hope you had an amazing weekend. I hope it was full of fun things and you treated the weekend like your vacation and enjoyed the paradise we live in, Puerto Vallarta. So, of course, you've tuned in to PVRN. So happy to have you back. My name is Brent Lane. If you're a first timer here, welcome. I met a lot of interesting and amazing people this weekend, and a lot of them asked about the show and gave me a hug or a handshake, and a lot of you asked about the show. So we probably have a few new people here as well, which is great. I love that. Let's just keep growing. So today is the 23rd of March. You are in beautiful Puerto Vallarta with me, and it is just about 10:01 a.m. Looking outside, no cruise ships today, but beautiful mountains, few clouds in the sky, beautiful weather, and everything seems to be going just lovely here in Puerto Vallarta as usual. So, good morning, Sly. I was wondering who's going to be first. You barely beat Maureen. Oh my gosh. It's like almost like a contest, but good morning. Nice to have you. I love when you guys say good morning. That's so amazing. All right, so let's talk about the weekend. The show might go a little long today, so hang in with me, maybe just beyond the 15 minutes, as I had a pretty busy weekend. I love to share my weekends with you. But first and foremost, if you were tuned in last week, you know I was going to the IMPV concert last night. Good morning, Chris, of the Anderson Report. And it was great. It was so amazing. We got there about 7 p.m. and the orchestra was ready to kick off and do it. And it was really fun. I even got a quick little, and it's a great cause. You know, IMPV really helps to teach children how to play instruments and helps the community also come together and, you know, play together as a nice orchestra. And it was about an hour and a half long. As a matter of fact, I got a video of it. So let me see if I can cue that up. It's only like 15 seconds, but let me show you what it's all about. So here we go. And let's see how this works. Our first video. And of course, that was from last night. Okay, orchestra, stop. That's enough. It's hard to run your own control board and your own and be the guest. Good morning, Brad. I met you last night. Buenos dias at the concert. Hope you had a great time. Morning, Oscar. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Love to have you. So with that, if it is your first time, there is an important part of the show that I'll take a little break for every now and then, which is let's have coffee. So here's the coffee cam. Cheers, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your Java this morning. All right, so moving on. That was a great concert, had a great time. Look up IMPV on Facebook. Thanks so much to Talia, who also wants to remind everybody, because she is a marine biologist, and she mentioned this to me last night, that today is the very last day of whale season, and we had a pretty good one. I don't believe there was many whales to start the season, but it really finished with a bang. I know I showed my wife's photos a few weeks ago, and there were really a lot of breaching and activity between the mamas and the calves. So thank you to Talia and her involvement with IMPV. As I mentioned last night, she's the only Mexican person on the board. Pretty cool for you. And thank you so much for giving us great information. And again, the last day of legal whale season is today. That's important. So also this weekend, I, of course, went to the Interstellar concert. It was the movie Interstellar at the Teatro Vallarta. Big shout out to Hector and his team. Did an amazing job. He is the director there. They had a full house. It was packed. Every seat was sold. We watched the movie on the screen up top of Interstellar, and the orchestra played it all live as we watched the movie. It was very cool. I talked about it a ton over the last few weeks, so I'm not going to go into details today. But it was great. And I think Hector mentioned he has got a couple mothers coming up. He's going to keep me in the loop on these because I'm telling you all about it. So when I know about the next movie event, you're going to know about the next movie event, and maybe I'll see you there. Last but not least, before we jump into the news, tomorrow is going to be the very first ever interview. I mentioned this a couple days ago. It's going to be with Megan Gallagher from Volcanic School. She's got a few things to talk about, but She's also going to be on CPS News with me tonight on television. But because it's the very first time doing it and I want to have a really great show for y'all and not have it mess up, I'm going to pre-record it. It's only going to be at 2-3 minutes long because our show is pretty short. And I'll pre-record it, play it. So if you don't see your comments during the interview, that's exactly why. But I'll make sure I remind you all of that tomorrow. So hopefully that goes without a hitch and we can get the interview out there. And maybe that'll become a part of the show. I'm thinking of calling it Two Things Tuesday. So Two Things Tuesday just means somebody comes on and they can talk about two things. Whatever the first thing is, maybe their event, maybe their charity, maybe something like that. And the second thing, maybe how to get involved, how to contact them. So if you or somebody you know wants to ever be a part of Two Things Tuesday, first of all, let's see how tomorrow goes. Second of all, if it goes well, I might not do it every single Tuesday. It's a bit of heavy lifting and I got a lot going on. But if it's great and you guys love it, I will do more of those coming up. So keep that in mind. Good morning, Brandy. Good to see you back. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. All right. With all that, we finally get to the news. I told you this show would be a little longer today. And if it's your first time, I just kind of peruse the news in Spanish, translate it and kind of give my opinion and kind of run it through you all and, see what we think. Good morning, Maureen. I was wondering where you are. And for Maureen, we're going to have Coffee Cam. Love to see you back and hope you had an amazing, amazing weekend. All right, on with the news. So first of all, this is more of a national story. I know Desiree over at My Destinations has been just clamoring for more national news. And every now and then when the national news coincides with our local news, I'm more than happy to cover that. So let's talk about the first story. So President Sheinbaum announced something. I think it was on Friday, but she essentially is saying that gas stations and toll booths are going to be mandatory credit cards only coming up here in 2026. So in 2026, Claudia is saying that, President Sheinbaum, I'm sorry, I don't want to be disrespectful. So she has announced that a national mandate to eliminate cash payments at all gas stations and the toll booths by the end of 2026 is the goal. So that she unveiled that at the 89th National Banking Convention. And it's really an initiative to modernize Mexico's financial landscape and reduce the reliance on cash. So they're working in consolidation with the banks in Mexico just to really standardize the digital payment method. Now, honestly, you might be on either side of that story. And, some people are really clamoring for, electronic payments, some aren't. I'm sure you all have an opinion on this in Mexico. I've driven probably as much as anybody across the country, and sometimes credit cards are as many problems as cash at the gas stations. But this is really an initiative. We kind of need to get on board with it. So for residents and travelers in the Banderas Bay Area, this transition will require the adoption of digital tools for travel and your fuel needs over the next 20 months. I'm going to be all over it. I'm going to make sure you guys know and gals know before it happens kind of what you're up to, what app do you need. We currently use the Tag, that Passe app that takes you across the country at the toll stations. And that app is great if you're in a car. It's not so great when I'm on my motorcycle because motorcycles are not the same cost as cars. For you motorcycle riders out there, it's definitely a bit of a trick because you got to pull up there and you can't use the code because it's going to charge you like a car and then you got to go get credit back. So I digress. I know most of you are probably not using motorcycles like I am, but I'm going to keep you up to date on it. So that fully digitized economy is really starting there. And it's kind of the way the whole world's going. Hey, Jonathan, I saw you checked in. Oh, no, I'm so sorry that happened to you with your a neck brace. Oh, my gosh. Well, I hope the doctor's taking amazing care of you. Please keep me informed and keep us informed. We're all with you, Jonathan. Sorry about your accident. That's terrible. I hate to see that. Okay. God, terrible. All right. So moving on now, we're going to talk a little bit about Farmacias Guadalajara. So Farmacias Guadalajara is instituting a new program. Let me tell you about this. So they're going to become safe havens for women in Mexico. This is really a feel-good story about a bad situation at the same time. But the Jalisco State government and Farmacias Guadalajara have signed a strategic collaboration agreement to transform more than 600 branches into what they're calling puntos Purupa, purple points. Okay, I might have said that wrong, but I think you get the message. You can see it. And they're essentially designating safe spaces for women experiencing harassment or danger in public areas. So this initiative really integrates the pharmacy change into a broader safety network where the staff are going to be trained to activate emergency protocols to provide temporary safe refuge and contact specialized authorities like the Contigo Violeta response team. So for the community here and throughout Jalisco, this expansion really significantly increases the number of accessible sanctuary locations. And of course, it also leverages the nice thing about Pharmacia Guadalajara that they're open. I think they're all open 24 hours. So no matter what time of day, if you're in danger, if you're a woman in danger and you need a safe haven, you can get immediate assistance and protection right there. And yeah, Marie, it is fantastic. I love that. I love sharing stories like this. I know the message behind it isn't great. We would rather eliminate, women being harassed or in danger. But if you're in danger, you're harassed, you're out in the evening or by day, and you see a Pharmacia Guadalajara, please don't be afraid to step in and speak to them. And you know about this, maybe take a screenshot of this. You can help talk your way through that. So if you see what's up on the screen there, you could even capture that on your phones or whatever, just to kind of get the message across if your Spanish isn't perfect like mine, but passable. So yeah, there you go. I love that initiative. I think that's a great piece of information for everybody to have. Now, secondly, or moving on in a completely different different direction. Man, it's coffee. Every now and then, you know what I need a viewer to do? I just need you to write coffee time in the messages because I'm just going to keep on rolling. I see your hard hands, Brandy. Mine too. It's just full of coffee at the moment. So yeah, every now and then I need a designated coffee cam reminder because I just get going. And my throat could use the break every now and then as well. All right, getting on with the news. Our third story this morning, is how Puerto Vallarta's cracking down on tinted windows. So if you're rolling down the 200 and you got those dark windows like some of you have, well, hey, you better watch out because the popos are on patrol. So the fine is going to be 586 pesos. If you pay really fast, you can get a bit of a discount on that. But let me tell you what's going on. So the police are intensifying checkpoints. There you go. Intensifying checkpoints along major arteries like Highway 200, like I said, and Avenida Mexico to enforce regulations against excessive window tinting. So a recent operation resulted in 19 violations being issued for front-facing windows that were too dark and allow visibility of the vehicle's interior. So again, front-facing, let's consider that for a minute. Now, front-facing, I guess, could be interpreted two different ways. You could be talking about the windshield as shown in the photo, or you could be talking about the front side windows. I imagine it's going to be up to them to decide where the limits are, but they're emphasizing that while light tinting for UV protection and comfort is generally prohibited, opaqueness that compromises road safety or criminal prevention is strictly prohibited under Article 360 of the Jalisco Mobility Law. Again, I'm going to remind you the fine is 586 pesos. Chris Anderson with the Anderson Port says unofficially 300 if you pay it at the stop. But I will say if you get a ticket and you pay it within the first 30 days, you actually get half price. So if you're willing to go down there and take care of it yourself, you'll actually save a little bit on that recommended FM300. Good morning, Daniel Paul Smith. How are you? I'm sorry I did not make your artist opening. You don't believe how much stuff I have going on. But I love that your stuff is still out there till April 20th at the gallery. Feel free to add more information about that in the notes at the end of the show. I'd love to hear about that and get real-time info. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right, so beyond revenue collection on these windows, officials stress that these measures are critical for real-time safety, allowing police to identify potential risks such as intoxicated driving, illegal transportation, and I mean, obviously to keep them safe too. The more they see you, the more they feel safe, the more that you see them. Also helps just two-way street on that thing, keeping it safe, pun intended. Yes, grab your broth coffee, Brandy. I'll grab it with you. Oh, there we go. Coffee cup. There we go. running the board and doing it all at the same time is a little tricky sometimes, as I say. All right. Before we move on, I do want to remind you, if you love to catch this show on streaming and you don't get me live, which I think is live is the most fun because I'm interacting with you guys. You see your comments on the screen. But if you can't, you can always catch me on YouTube as one primary way. Anytime you want to shoot a note to me and it's not live, you can hit me over at pvrnmx@gmail.com. And of course, right in the show notes, there's a bunch of new ways to catch this show, including Spotify, Substack, YouTube, all the ways. No excuses for not knowing what's going on in the news. Okay, this weekend was also, and again, if you've been watching the show daily, it was the half marathon and 5K race for World Water Day in Puerto Vallarta. And I'll give a big shout out. I think I know a few of the runners, but I'll give a big shout out for Rodrigo. He was out there. But again, if you're not familiar with it and you only see it as a traffic jam, well, look how awesome that is. That's the start of the race. That's actually from last year, and it was amazing. So more than 1,000 runners gathered in Puerto Vallarta this past weekend, to participate in the half marathon and 5K race organized by SAPAL Vallarta. And this time it was in celebration of World Water Day. So the event has become a local tradition. It really raises awareness about water conservation while promoting physical activity and community engagements. So participants had a gamut. They included local athletes, international residents, and visitors, all navigating a single route that highlighted the natural beauty of Banderas Bay. And we love it here, and they loved it here too. The competition saw amazing results across various categories, with SAPAL officials emphasizing that true victory was a collective message of sustainability around water. And beyond the athletic achievement, the event served as a platform for the Municipal Water Agency to highlight ongoing infrastructure projects and importance of responsible water management in what we know is, and we love it, that is a growing tourist destination. Maybe not everybody loves it, but a lot of people do love it. And we know if it's not an amazing tourist destination, well, it could cause problems for the city. So, hey, if you were part of the race or you were out there in the 5K or you did the half marathon, I'd love to hear from you. Post your time in the notes. Let's hear about it. If you were caught in traffic from it, let's hear about that too. I mean, that was a big story last year. All right, so let's move on. I know I'm running over today. It's not going to be a 15-minute show, but I warned you. We knew that was going to happen. Now, listen, I know this show is no AI, but no AI comes to the news. But every now and then, when I get a story and there's no photo out there for it, I'll just make one really quick. So thanks, AI, for this very AI-y photo. But look what it's showing. So big shout out to Chris Anderson of the Anderson Report. I know you're online right now, for shooting me over a really cool link showing all of the daily live music. Not week, well, you can get days in the future too, so weekly if you pull it that way. But what an amazing find. He sent me this link over the weekend, and I'll share it with you guys in the comments after the show. But what it does is it kind of just outlines all the live music. We love our live music and artists here in town around Puerto Vallarta. So a couple highlights. We've got, and I don't want to single anybody out, but there's a couple bands that I know more than others because I MC a lot of charity stuff. I see the Lovers at Rancho Santiago. Have y'all been to Rancho Santiago yet? The owners have reached out to me a few times about doing an event there, and I know the pitmaster from La Huerta went there, but they're playing out of Rancho Santiago today at 3. Las Mambas is going to be out there at Cafe Roma. I see Roxy Band is going to be at the Roxy Rock House tonight, and just all kinds. So I'll put that link into the comments when it's done, but big shout out again to Chris Anderson, just providing awesome information that I didn't even know about that, and I can't know everything. So for sure, super cool. And I agree with you, Chris. I see your note right there. Let's do an event. I do want to do an event there, and I'll probably end up doing it with my Gen Expats group one day. They've been asking me about it as well, but I've never been to Rancho Santiago. So if you've been and you got any information about it, it's really similar to La Huerta. It's a little bit more rustic. How would it be for an event? You tell me. I wish I knew everything, but I just don't. Alrighty then. Well, we're about 5 minutes over time today, but I hope you got a lot of good information out of the show. We had a really cool weekend. I hope that video of the concert played for 15 seconds like it was supposed to earlier. But most of all, what I really need is everybody, please go out there. Continue sharing the word about this show. Continue sharing my links, please. The more the show grows, the better. I will, just to be completely transparent with everybody, I will be probably entertaining the idea of sponsors, but I really wanted to get this show going for a while, get it solid, check out how many viewers I get. But my main promise is if I do bring on sponsors, it's not going to be part of the show per se. Maybe it'll just be a banner along the bottom when I don't have this ticker on or something like that. But my main goal is never to fill this show with sponsorships, never feel like you're listening to a news story that's really an ad. That's just not the goal. So if they are there, they're going to be non-intrusive. So please, please, please don't worry. But if you're somebody out there watching, you think you might be interested in being a sponsor of the show, at some point, I will send you a sponsorship package. And all that really does for me, just to be honest and transparent with you, because that's what I do, it allows me to continue to grow and modernize this show. There is some more equipment I want to get, and I've already got a pretty hefty investment into this, but there's some more I want to get, and having some sponsors, like only 4 or 5, would really change that for me and allow me to modernize the show a little bit, but keep it personal between us at the same time. All right, with all that said, that's the end of the show. Again, sorry I went a little long today, but I think we had fun. I hope you did too. Have an amazing rest of your Monday. And don't forget, tomorrow we'll have Megan Gallagher on. I can't wait to see her again, as I'm going to see her tonight on the news. And she's just got some amazing, important stuff. She's just one of those people in the community that does amazing things. So with that, have an amazing day, and I will see y'all mañana.